If it's positive, then it will smile. So it's a U shape. Okay. So there are total 10 chapters in Form 4. So there are total 10 chapters in Form 4. So chapter 1 is quadratic functions and equation in one variable, which you will learn also in additional maths. Yeah, later in chapter 2. Similar, okay, it's very similar, but in mod maths is much more simple. Okay, much more simple. So let's look at the first thing first here. Look at the title first, right? So chapter 1, quadratic function. So we are going to learn about quadratic functions and also equation in one variable. Okay, so equation means got equal, very simple equation, equal. So in general form, we have ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Okay, equal to 0. So equation means you have something equal to 0. That's quadratic equation. So if we talk about quadratic expression, which we have learned in Form 2, yeah, Form 2, Form 3, expression. So it's without equal 0. So we just need to simplify only. Okay, example here. Let's say we have 3x plus 5. So we times in, so we get 3x squared plus 15x. So this is the example of quadratic expression. Express means you simplify, you times in, you get the answer only. Equation, equal. So we'll proceed with 3x squared plus 15x equal to 0. Then then we can tell that this is equation. So when we have equation, then we need to solve. Solve means we want to find out the value of the unknown or the variable. So what is x in this case? So what is the value of x in this case? So we can use factorization method to get the value of x. Okay, a quick one here. Equal to 0, factorize out. So what is the common factor? X, right? Take out the x. Okay, then common factor, take out already. The balance we write in the bracket equal to 0. So if we times in, we'll get back the same thing. Times in, sorry, this is 15x, 15. Okay, so we can double check also here. Okay, then we can proceed to write x equal to 0 and another bracket 3x plus 15 equal to 0. So proceed, 3x equal to negative 15, x equal to negative 15 divided by 3, which is negative 5. Okay, so that's the example. That's the example of how we find quadratic equation. Okay, that's the difference also, expression and equation. Okay, so a quick one. So when we talk about quadratic, okay, quadratic means the variable is getting power to 2, x squared. So you will see here, got square. It's quadratic. Quadratic means power to 2. If it's straight line equation, y equal to mx plus c, that one is linear. Linear. Quadratic, then we will see the x equals to 2, power 2. Okay, so a quick one. Okay, a quick one. Yeah. So here the question here, determine whether each of the following is quadratic expression in one variable or not. Yes or no. Yes or no. So quadratic expression in one variable. One variable means like only one alphabet is only x. Then it's one variable. So if you have x, y, meaning we will have two variables. Okay, so number one, x squared minus 3. So do you think this is a quadratic expression? Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, I just put a tick here. Okay. What about the second one? Yes, also right. Correct. Okay, the answer is yes. Okay, so quadratic expression. Now, be careful of this x squared. X, it must be at the position numerator. If it's denominator, like this, okay, this is not quadratic expression because of the position. It's at the bottom. At the bottom is denominator. Okay, if it's denominator, let's say we change it to indices form, is not carrying power 2. Instead, it will carry negative 2. So it's not the same. So this is not a quadratic expression. Okay, so it must be, the position must be at numerator. Numerator. And for number 3, the answer also, yes. Okay, it's a quadratic expression because you got y squared. Okay, and it's only one variable. And for number 4, what do you think? Number 4. No, okay, because the x is at denominator. Okay, well done. Okay, so first thing first, you got to differentiate what is quadratic expression. Okay, next, we want to differentiate. Is it quadratic equation in one variable? Equation in one variable. So number 1, what do you think? Yes or no? Is it a quadratic equation got equal? Yes. Okay, got equal and then you got x squared. One variable, yes. Definitely, yes. Number 2, you got 2 brackets there. Okay. But no equal, right? So this is not a quadratic equation. Yeah. But if let's say we times in, we will get quadratic. We will get quadratic, but not equation because no equal. Just simple like that. No equal, so it's not equation. Number 3, yes, right, because got equal to 0. Okay, got equal to 0. So if we times in, multiply, still we get x squared. Number 4, again, is not. Yeah, it's not. No. Yep. Okay, because no equal. Uh, so then you wonder, SPM will come out this kind of question. So simple one, man. Got me? God. Okay, they will ask you in objective. Which of the following is quadratic equation in one variable. So you have to choose out of the 4 option there. So yes, they will come up with a question like this. Okay, so first thing first, we already very clear about what is quadratic expression and equation. Equation got equal. Okay, so next, back to equation. Now we want to find the value of x. Okay, the value of x. Quadratic equation. Now we want to find the value of x. So when we learn a new subject, is chemistry also okay, chemistry, physical, in each subject, they got their own bahasa. Am I right? You got bahasa kimia, you got bahasa physics. So of course in mathematics, we also got bahasa mathematics. So what is that? Bahasa mathematics. So when we want to find the value of x in quadratic equation, okay? So the bahasa mathematics in value of x is known as roots. Okay, find the roots of the quadratic equation. Find the roots of the quadratic equation. So when you see this, means they are telling you, find the value of x. Okay, if the equation got y, find the value of y. Find the value of the unknown, the variable. Okay, so the Bahasa Mathematic, the first term that we going to learn is the roots of the quadratic equation. So number one, x squared plus 8x plus 12 equal to 0. If we are using the factorization method, so what is the value of x? Okay, what is the value of x? So now I need you to keluarkan your calculator. Okay, we can use calculator to solve or to get the value of x. Okay, so before that, can you let me know your mode of calculator? Is it 507 ms or ex? ES, okay. So you ES means you got the EQN one, right? You press mode, then you got EQN. Okay. So if you press mode, so this is how you key in your calculator. Mode. Then you will see number 5 is EQN. So you press EQN. Next, then you press the button 3 because it will show you the general form. AX squared plus BX plus C equal to 0. So once you press the button 3, the calculator will show you ABC, right? Can you follow? Yes, huh? Okay, good. Now, what to fill in to the value of ABC here? So the ABC here is actually the number. The number. In Bahasa Mathematic, we call it constant. Okay, constant. But actually, it means the number in front of the variable. Okay, so look at the equation here. Number one, x squared plus 8x plus 12 equal to 0. So what is the number before x squared? It's not 0 because when you multiply with 0, then you get 0. So the number here is 1. Yes. Okay, very smart. Yes, it's 1. Then b is the constant before x, which is 8. C is after x, the whole number there, including the symbol. So positive 12. So it's 12. So now we key in ABC. A is 1. B is 8. C is 12. Just key only. A is 1. 1 equal. Then B 8 equal. C then 12 equal. So what do you see? Okay, is it only -2? You press equal again. -6. Okay, so meaning we have two value. One is -2. Then if you press equal again, then it will show you x2, -6. Okay, so in this case, meaning that this equation have two answer. The first one is x1 equal to -2, x2 equal to -6. So we get the answer. How we get the answer? From the calculator. Okay, we ask our best friend, hey, calculator, my best friend in the world. Okay, can you count for me or not? What is the value of x? So the calculator will tell you, oh, x1 is -2, x2 is -6. But can you tell the teacher or not? Teacher, I use the calculator, I get this answer one. I use calculator. Cannot. Cannot, right? You don't tell, don't tell teacher. Then how should we tell? I mean, how should we write so that we can tell teacher, oh, I know how to do. Now I show you the working and get the full mark. So how So here, by looking at the answer, we do reverse. Okay, we do reverse engineer. Okay, meaning x1 equal to -2. So if we opposite it, so it will be x plus 2. X plus 2 because the answer is -2. So if you opposite it, it will be +2. So the second bracket will be x plus 6 equal to 0. Okay. After this, then we can write already x1 x plus 2 equal to 0. That's why x equal to -2. And the second bracket, x plus 6 equal to 0. Hence, x equal to -6. So you will see your answer is exactly the same. Is that okay? That's how we reverse back. So in the bracket form, okay, in this bracket form is actually factorization method. We can use calculator to help us to get the answer. Last time, if we are in form 2, so factorization method, this is how you learn. You do the x method, then you write here x squared, then here 12. Is it the same method? Have you learned this method before? Yes, right? So now when we go to upper secondary, we can use a little bit of shortcut because we have a lot of calculation. So now we can use a little bit of shortcut, but we have to know how to write in a proper format. So if you want to use the manual methods, go ahead, no problem. Okay, but if you want to use calculator, so this is the method that we should write. We need to show in our workings lah. Okay, so any questions about number 1? No, okay. So you proceed to the second one. Okay, second one, number 2. Correct equation also, x squared minus 144 equal to 0. So if I want to key in calculator, a equal to what? What is the value of a? What about b? Oh, c. A. That's great. Okay, that's how you key in. Yep, correct. A, B, C. So that's no problem. Okay, so try. What is x1 and x2? Okay, how many answer? 2, right? 12. X1 is 12. Another one is -12. Yes, you got it. Okay, congratulate. So if it's factorization method, okay, actually this is perfect square. Perfect square. Okay, so if perfect square, when we do factorization, so it can change to x squared minus 12 square, right? So 1, you will get positive. Another one, you will get negative. If it's the manual method, factorization, perfect square, so we get 2 brackets. 1 positive, 1 negative. But since here now we are using calculator, okay, so we know that the first answer is positive 12. Second answer is negative 12. Reverse, so we will get x minus 12, the first bracket. The second one, x plus 12. Exactly the same. Okay, so you can just write again, equal to 0. So x1 equal to positive 12. Second bracket, then the second answer will be negative 12. Just like that only. Simple, right? Okay, what about number 3? Okay, why not you try? And you let me know what to write in the bracket. not only the answer, but what to write in the bracket. Okay, let you try first. Okay, so I got the answer here. X1 is negative 1 over 2. X2 is positive 4 over 3. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, great. Yeah. The answer, yeah. 1 over 2, positive 1 over 2, right? I think terbalik. Is it? Or I key in wrongly? I think the symbol terbalik. Wow. Oh, this is your answer in factorization in the bracket, right? The answer okay. I got it. Okay. Okay, so let me just change a little bit here. Okay, supposing to be like this, right? Okay. Okay, well done. Okay, so you get the idea that you opposite. Okay, if it's negative, then you make it to positive right in the bracket, right? Okay, the idea is correct. Okay, well done. But then if the answer is in fraction form, so the way we write should be pull up the denominator first. Pull up the denominator first. Then it will become 2x minus 1. And then the second one, pull up the denominator. So it becomes 3x plus 4. So that when you multiply, you will get back the same value. So if it's a fraction, we pull up the denominator. Then we continue to write like this. Okay, that's the difference. If it's only an integer, no problem. We can just reverse fraction, pull up the denominator. So let's say another example. We get the answer. Let's say here, we get the answer. X1 equal to 5 over 2. Reverse. What should we write? 2x minus 5. Yes, you got it. Correct. Okay. So let's proceed. Number 4. So sometimes they not necessarily need to ask you the value of x. They can ask you the other variable. It can be p, it can be a, it can be q. Okay. So just the variable. So when you write the answer, make sure we write p equal to what? If you write x, even though the value is the same, but you cannot get the marks, because it's different thing. Okay. So for this, we have to arrange the quadratic into the general form first. Meaning the negative 15 must go in front and let whole equation equal to 0. So rearrange, we will get 6p squared minus 19p plus 15 equal to 0. So this is the first step. Okay, once we let the whole quadratic equation equal to 0, we will manage to get 1 mark. Okay, 1 mark. It must be in general form. Then only we key in calculator. A equal to 6 B equal to negative 19, and C equal to 15. Okay, so be careful. This is P. P1 equal to 5 over 3, and P2 equal to 3 over 2. So can you help me to get the factorization? Okay, so I see the answer 3x minus 5. Then the second one is 2x minus 3. Okay, perfect. So if this question so got 4 marks, so this is the second marks. If we can get the factorization and let it be equal to 0, so each answer you get another one. Okay, so far so good? Can do, right? Quadratic equation. Find the roots of the quadratic equation. So here, the roots of the quadratic equation is 5 over 3 and 3 over 2. So this is the bahasa matematik. In BM is punca. We are learning in DLP, right? DLP, English version, not BM. Okay, so in English, it's called the roots of the quadratic equation. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, yes, okay. This is very interesting. Number 5. If you look at the pattern, is this a quadratic equation? Is this a quadratic equation? No. So don't tertipu. Terperangkap. Okay, so this cannot do. This is 2 variables, and this is not a quadratic. This is a linear form. Linear. Okay, linear means without power. Linear without power. Power 1 only. So this one cannot do. Okay. What about this one? Can do or not? Can, because this is a quadratic equation. So step 1, make sure it's in general form. So we got to rearrange. Okay. Y squared minus 5 over 2y, bring to front. So minus 3 over 2 equal to 0. Okay, so that's the tips here. That's the tips here. So if you look at the question in general form, got denominator. Yeah, got denominator over 2 over 2. So we can multiply the LCM, lower common multiple, so that it become integer. The whole equation become integer without fraction. Then it will look nicer and also easier without the denominator. So how? So now if you look at all the terms got over 2 divided by 2. If you want to eliminate, we times 2. This one times 2 times 2 times 2. At the back, actually we need to times 2 also, but 0 times anything also equal to 0. Okay, so in this case, after we times 2, we will get the new equation, which is 2y squared minus cut 5y minus cut 3 equal to 0. So now if we compare the first equation here and the second equation, it looks easier because without denominator already. So how to eliminate the denominator? Multiply LCM. If it's all 2, then divide times 2 lor. If you have 2 and 4, so the LCM is 4. So you times 4. Then you will cut. Multiply with the LCM. So this is one of the tips. If you have denominator, we can eliminate first. Okay, after that, it's all the same. Key in A equal to 2, B equal to -5, and C is equal to -3. So we'll get the answer x1 equal to 3. So once you're already familiar, you can just insert the bracket y minus 3. Second one, the answer is -1/2. Hence, the factorization 2y plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, then write it nicely. Okay. So which of the workings must write 1? Let it rearrange and let it be 0. This is a must. Second one, the factorization with the brackets equal to 0 and the answer. So this one, if you want to write, then you write lah, right? Because it looks neatly, more tidy. So from here, then it becomes this, then it becomes this. If without this also can. So this thing you can do, you can solve and find the roots of the quadratic equation now. Yes, right. Oh, very good. Okay. Harder. Harder and harder. Okay. Can I just let you try first in 1 minute? Okay, so you got the g squared plus 3g minus 26. Okay. So let's double check. So we just times in, right? So exactly the same. Congratulate. Yes, then we can proceed already. Find out the value, the roots of the quadratic equation. What did you get? -26. Oh, so sorry. Okay. Typo error here. Yeah, you are right. Plus 2 type minus 28. You are right. Yep. So what did you get? The answer, is it in decimal form? Okay, the answer is in decimal form. So for mod max, usually the answer is in integer. But for MX, you can get the answer in decimal form. Okay, so this one we cannot proceed. We cannot use factorization method. If the roots of the quadratic equation, we cannot use factorization method. Okay, that means we cannot proceed already. In this case, we cannot proceed already. So the idea is For mod max, the answer must be in integer form or improper fraction form, like 7 over 2, okay, negative 15 over 4. In this case only, we can use factorization method. If it's not, then we have to use formula. The one you will learn in additional maths. Is that clear? So you must differentiate these two subjects, even though it's mathematics. So for mod max, if you get decimal, you can stop already. That means you cannot find the roots of it. But because you have x1 and x2, so here very obvious that we have two roots, just that we cannot use factorization method to solve. We can use formula. Do you get the idea clear? We have two roots, but we cannot proceed. Okay, we cannot write the factorization method. No, this one no. Okay, very good. Okay, so the idea is let you know also, if it's in decimal, we cannot use factorization method. Okay, so this one is similar with the question just now, quadratic. So we just times in a quick one. So m squared minus 5m minus 6 equal to 0. So what about this? Okay, just that, don't write x, right? The variable here is m, McDonald m. So change, m minus 6, m plus 1. Because sometimes we are just to get used to x, right? Okay, be careful only, So make sure you write m. M equal to 6 and m equal to negative 1. If you write x, I'm sorry to say that, okay, no marks, 4 marks, not even 1. Not even 1, because you write x. That's very dangerous. Okay, so that's the whole idea. So first part, okay, we learned in chapter 1 is how to find the roots of the quadratic equation. Okay, so how to find the roots of the quadratic equation. Oh yeah, okay, so unmute, yeah. Okay, I'm so sorry. Just now I think I logged out already. Yeah, so I think now it should be okay. Okay, now it should be okay. So I'm back, right? Okay. Okay, so for chapter 1, part 1, we have settled. Yeah, we have settled how to find the roots of the quadratic equation or punca or the value of x. Okay, so based on the eight questions just now, we managed to find two real roots because we got x1 and x2. We have two different answers. So in this case, we call it two real roots because we have two value of x. Value of x. Value of the variable. Yeah, so this one will be values of the variable. So there are total three types. The first one will be you go only, if you key in calculator, you got only one value of x. So they show you x equal to 5 only. So if you press equal, you can't find x2. So in that case, meaning you will only have one value of x, which is one real root. Okay, one real root. So x1 equal to x2. Okay, that's type 1. Type 2, like what we did just now, all the quadratic equation just now, we get is two real roots. The value of x1 is not the same as x2. That's how we read that. The value of x1 is not the same as x2. Hence, we got two value of x. The third type, okay, the third type means no real roots, means no x. Okay, how to consider no real roots? When you key in the equation A, B, C, the answer show you at the back, you will see some fraction and then you got I at the back one. If you have I at the back, I means imaginary. So in this case, that means there is no value of x, no real roots. Okay, so this is the example just now. The typo error just now. X square, let me just check back the equation. This one. If you key in positive 26, okay, you can try. If you key in positive 26, then you will get the value of x. At the back got I. You can try and see. Positive 26. Got right, got I at the back, right? So in that case, if it's positive 26, no real root. Okay. So we only have these three types. Okay. So equation, we say the roots of the quadratic equation, the roots are, but in graph form. So now I'm going to proceed in graph form. Okay, make it smaller. So when we draw out on graph form, so we have Paxi X and Paxi Y. So now look at what is the meaning of the roots in graph form. So if it's a quadratic, meaning the variable is taking power to 2, right? So the graph form will be a U shape. It's either in U shape or N shape, depending on the value of A. Depending on the value of A. A in front. A. So if let's say you have a quadratic function, example, 2x squared plus 5x minus 7. So you look at the value of A, positive. If it's positive, then it will sound. So it's a U shape. Okay. If the value of A is positive, then the curve is a U shape. But if the quadratic function, the value of A is negative, example, negative 7x squared plus 5x minus 7. So you just check the value of A. Then cry N shape. Okay. So the curved line is N shape. Very simple only. Just check positive or negative. Then you will know the pattern already. U or N shape. Okay. This one okay now? The value of A. Okay, next one. Okay. So just now we learned about the roots of the quadratic equation. We have these three types, right? One real root, two real roots, and no real roots. Meaning, if you only have one real root, the curved line, okay, this curved line will touch the x-axis or proxy x at only one point. One real root, 1 point. One real root, 1 point. Now you can imagine already. If it's two real roots, this curved line will pass the x-axis, proxy x, at 2 points. Here and here. 2 points. Two real roots. What if no real roots? The curved line is hanging off. The curved line is hanging and it's not touching the proxy x. You see the difference? Type 1, one real root touching 1 point. Two real roots, you got x1 and x2, then you will have two intersecting points. No real roots is not touching. Clear? Okay. So if I draw, okay, if I draw a curved line like this, can you tell me, wait, let me write down the function first. Uh, okay. Do you think the quadratic function of this curved line, the orange color curved line, is this or this, A or B? A, right? Okay, so what's the reason? Because the value of A is positive and the curved line is U-shaped. So if it's U-shaped, the value of A must be positive. Just simple like that. Okay. Then can you check for me? Okay, now you proceed. Can you check for me, is this quadratic equation has one real root, two real roots, or no real root? Remember how to check, right? Just key in. Yes, no real roots because got I at the back. Very good. So if you want, let's say you want to sketch, want to draw it out. Okay, let's say you want to draw it out. Now we know the pattern already. Due to the reason A is positive, so we know the pattern is a U shape. And when we key in EQN, we get the imaginary number, which means no real roots. So the proxy x will be at the bottom. Proxy x. That's the indicator. The indicator to tell us how to sketch the graph. The bottom one, what about the bottom one? The pattern is N shape. Okay, N shape because of A is negative. And then same thing, you want to check whether got real roots or not. Key in calculator only, -2, -5, and -7. Same thing, we got imaginary number. So where is the proxy x? Above. It cannot touch. So it will be above, above the curved line. That's the pattern. We can predict already the pattern of the curve. One last thing, One last thing. Okay, look, if you look at the general form, quadratic function ax squared plus bx plus c. Now we focus at the value of c. The value of c is the y-intercept. The line that will cut the proxy y. So this is known as y-intercept. We should learn in Form 3, last chapter, y equal to mx plus c. So this is the value of c. Okay, c means the value of y-intercept. So if you look at positive 7, if it's positive 7, meaning the proxy y will cut the curved line at positive 7. The second example, the question B, because of the value of C is negative 7, hence the curved line will passing through or cut the proxy y at negative 7. Is that okay? So what's it good? Is it too fast? It's okay, All right. So until now, we already enter quadratic function. Okay? Quadratic function, meaning we are checking on the graph already. Function means the relation on the graph. Okay, on the graph. So we are investigate the variable x and y. Variable x and y. So from the general equation, so this is ax squared plus bx plus c. So we have learned how to find the pattern of the curve by looking at the value of a. So if a is positive, so it's a U shape. If a is negative, the curved line is N shape. This is what we have learned a moment ago. Second thing, we also learned that how to check the x-intercept. The x-intercept. So this x-intercept, we call it as the roots of the quadratic equation. Okay, same name. But on the graph form, we call it as x-intercept. So you will have one real root, two real roots, or no real root. So this one we can check by using calculator. Okay, EQN. To know whether got one or two real roots or two x-intercepts. And the third one is y-intercept. Y-intercept here. The third one, value of C. C means y-intercept. So digest first, 30 seconds. Value of A, EQN, we find out the roots of the quadratic equation, and C is the y-intercept. So now let's try one exercise, SPM exercise. You'll get this copy later, so not to worry. So this is state trial paper, one of the questions. Which of the following quadratic functions represent the above graph. So by looking at the value of A first, the value of A is N shape, So the value of A must be negative, right? Must be negative. So the answer cannot be A and B, because A and B, the value of A is positive. Correct? Okay. This one got two real roots or one real root or no real roots. By looking at the graph, no one or two. Got how many x-intercept? Got two, right? Okay, so the x-intercept here. So I can also say x1 equal to -2, x2 equal to +5, right? Okay, then what about the value of C? Y-intercept. Is it positive or negative? By looking at the graph, you see here, positive, right? So the answer must be dadu kan? Positive. That's how you pick the answer. Do you need any calculation here? No, right? Understanding only. By looking at the value of A and C, actually, you got the answer already. A, cancel these two, right? C, because of it's above the boxing X. So it surely will be +10, not -10. So it's only understanding. So these are the example of SPM questions. Nowadays, for under KSSM syllabus, mostly on understanding. Not much calculation needed. But if you want to count also can. So by using the quadratic function, if you key in the ABC, and you got the x1, x2 is -2 and 5, that's also one of the method to decide the answer here. So there banyak banyak cara lah, banyak cara. Okay, so that's one of the examples. So, okay, let's try another one. Now your turn. Tell me. Which of the following graph represent f(x) equal to -12 plus x plus x squared? This one quadratic function, they purposely mess it up. So you got to rearrange first. Rearrange first. Make sure x squared in front, x, and then value of c. Ax squared plus bx plus c. So let you try first. Look at the value of a and the value of c. Got two answer, right? You can proceed with the EQN. Find out the roots of the quadratic equation. Check the x1 and x2. It's not C, it's not C. It's not C. See, A here is positive, right? Okay, to erase at least. D, yes. Okay, it's okay. Don't need to say sorry. It's okay, Yes, it's D. So first, we use cancellation method. Okay, we use cancellation method because of A is positive, so it cannot be A and C. Next, -12 coincidentally B and D also -12. So no choice, we got to find out the x-intercept. So you just key in E to N, find out the roots of the correct equation. So we get 3 and -4, right? So the roots of the quadratic equation is also same as x-intercept, 3, -4. 3, -4. Hence, the answer is Tadu. One more, eh? Okay, let me try. Okay, let me see first. This one. No, not yet. Let me see this one. Okay, this one also can do. So diagram 10 shows the graph of the quadratic function. Fx, I make it bigger, equal to -x squared minus 4x plus c. C is missing. C is missing, but from the graph, we can tell that C equal to 12. Very smart. Okay, because here already show the value of C, right? Y-intercept equal to 12. So since we know already, we can substitute -x squared minus 4x plus 12. The questions ask us to find out the values of P and Q. So if you check P and Q here is x-intercept, right? On graph form, we call it x-intercept. X-intercept is actually same as the roots of the quadratic equation. So what we need to do is just key in calculator. A is -1, B is -4, C is 12. And we got the answer. You managed to find the answer? B, yes, correct. Because we get x equal to 2 and another one is -6. So 2 positive is on the right side. So Q is 2. B is -6. Congratulate. Okay, so you have learned very much on chapter 1. Okay, so go back to this exercise. Let's proceed. Okay, harder. Okay, that's the basic. So now we know already how to find the roots of the correct equation. A, B, and C. Okay, so now we need to form back the quadratic equation. So if there is a problem, okay, like this, problem solving, we need to form quadratic equation, then only we can solve. So look at the example here. When a number x is added to its square, added last, its square, then the total is 12. So by reading the first sentence, what does it mean? We have a number x, and if this number x is added last, is square. Is square means x square. Okay, so x is added to its square, the total. So if you sum up, equal to 12. That's how we form quadratic equation. So once you got the equation ready, find the two possible values of x. So just proceed only, right? Rearrange x squared plus x minus 12 equal to 0. And then to end, you can proceed already. Okay. So the first answer is +3, so x minus 3. Another one, x plus 4 equal to 0. So x1 is 3 and another one negative 4. Now team, full mark. Okay. So I've already shown you one example. Why not you try number 2? Form the equation first. Let me know the equation first before you proceed. Okay. Not sure, right? Because here involve two variables. Confused. It's okay, it's okay. Okay. Because it looks like it has two variables in mind, right? Because they say the sum of two numbers is 32. The sum of two numbers. So we can we can differentiate first. Okay, we let first number is x, second number is 1. The sum plus log. So x plus y is 32. And the product means, what's the meaning of product here in mathematics? Yes, you're right. Times multiplication, right? The product of the two numbers is 175. Since we let the two numbers is x and y, product multiplication, meaning x times y is 175. So we get two equation actually. Okay, after we get two equation, we can let, x from here, x equal to 32 minus y. And then we substitute back into this equation. Okay, you learn this in Form 1. Yeah, Form 1, the simultaneous linear equation. Yeah, kind of. So you substitute back. So x now become 32 minus y. So 32 minus y in bracket form multiplied with y equal to 175. So it will go back to quadratic equation form. You see? So 32 times y, 32y minus y square minus 175 equal to 0. So now okay to follow or not? Okay, okay, so just let me write it properly. Okay, so just now we get the two equation, x plus y equal to 32. So xy equal to 175. So you can label it first equation and second equation. So from the first equation just now, we let x equal to 32 minus y. And then we sub x equal to 32 minus y into the second equation. Okay, next, hence we get okay, then we substitute. So we get this. After that, we just rearrange. So it will go back to quadratic equation. Just rearrange. Then we can proceed already. So if we have negative here, listen carefully. If you have negative here, you can make it to positive. Make it to positive. So you times all the equation with negative. So you will get y squared minus 32y plus 175 equal to 0. Then we can key in EQN already. So we get y minus 25 and another one is y minus 7 then. So we settle. Ini soalan kebat. So this is the overall. So if we come out soalan kebat, it was something like this. Or it will be something like this. So you have to form the quadratic equation first. Then only we can solve. Shall we proceed? Yes, okay. So the last one, before we end the class today, the last one. So sometimes they will involve some formula like triangle, area of triangle, perimeter. So that one you can refer back the formula. Okay, so there are the list of formula will be given during SPM. So look at number 3, a triangle has the length of base x centimeter and height is x minus 3. So given the area of the triangle is 54. So my question is, what is the formula to find area of triangle? How to find area of triangle? So area 1/2 times base times height. Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, base. We call it base, yeah? Base. Here. So if it's right angle triangle, so another tips here. Sometimes we are given a right angle triangle, So we can say this is base, this is height. Okay, but sometimes it's an isosceles triangle, right? Isosceles triangle. Okay, so where is the base and where is the height? If it's isosceles triangle, base, this is base, then the height will be from the vertex down, touching the base. So this is base, this is height, like this. So same thing, area 1/2 times base times height. So this one base, this one height. So since the questions already give us the base and the height, so we just substitute only now. Okay, much more easier this chapter. Sorry, this chapter blood, this question. So 1/2 times base times height equals to the area, which is 54. So we just form. After that, multiply only now times in, times in. So 1/2 here, we bring to the back. Okay, because we don't want to times in so that we don't get 1/2x and then 1/2x times 3. No, you make it harder. So what we can do is we can move 1/2 to the back. 1/2 over 2 means divided by 2, divided by 2. So divide, move to the back, become multiplied. So in front, balance is only x times x squared, or I just write first, wait, okay, 54 times 2. So we get 108. Then only we times in x squared minus 3x, bring 108 in front, then equal to 0. Then we can proceed already. Can you help me to proceed to complete this answer? Okay. X minus 12, then x plus 9 equal to 0. Okay, so now a little bit only, a little bit left. We got two answers, right? One is positive 12, another one is negative 9. Now the question is asking us to find out the length of the base, x, right? So can x, the base, the length of the triangle be negative 9 or not? What's the idea of no, right? So if there is a problem like this involving the triangle, the reality one, like the height, length, so the answer cannot be in negative. So what we do is we just insert the bracket. We can write ignore, or you can reject. That means we don't want this answer. We don't want this answer. We don't want the negative. We are only accepting the positive. X1 equal to 12. So you can write rejected, ignore, and we just choose the positive one. Then only we get full marks. So if it's involving a real life, problem, then you have to make sure the x cannot be in negative. But if it's only the normal one, the quadratic equation, the value of x, of course, if x is in negative, it can be accepted. Okay, in graph form also can accept the negative. So what's good? Any questions so far? Nope. Okay, that's very good. Okay, so what we have learned for today, chapter 1. Okay, just a quick recap before we end the class, Okay, so a quick one. So we have touching. Okay, we have identified what is quadratic expression. Okay, expression no equal, equation got equal. And then if we have this quadratic equation, we can find out the value of x, which we call it the roots of the quadratic equation. Okay, the value of x. And if it's in graph form, we know that the roots of the quadratic equation is actually the x-intercept. The x-intercept. Okay, so this is also known as the roots of the quadratic equation. It's the same thing. So there are three types of roots of quadratic equation. One real root, meaning x1 equal to x2. So touching only the proxy x at one point, two real roots. So you will have the curved line passing through the proxy x at 2 points. No real roots, is hanging. Okay, is hanging. So this is what we learned. Okay, we form the quadratic equation. We find out the roots of the quadratic equation, including the x-intercept. Last but not least, quadratic function. Okay, so in general form, fx equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. We can check the pattern of the curved line by identifying the value of a. So if a is positive, so it's U-shape. If a is negative, so it will be N-shape. Next, we also learned that plus c at the back is actually y-intercept. That's what we learned today. Okay, so next week we will continue to sketch the quadratic function, and also we will look at the position. Is it on the left? Is it on the right? And how it affects the curve